Irlanda, thank you so much for coming to Cabrillo virtually to talk to the engineering students. It's really nice to see you after not seeing you for a while. So, what I would really like you to talk about is your whole educational path. And I know you're working as a computer engineer now and talking about your work as a computer engineer, but let's start from the beginning. So, okay, so you could go. Thanks, Irlanda.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Well, hello everyone. My name is Irlanda. I was born in Mexico and came here when I was 9 years old. And I grew up in Santa Cruz ever since. Um, so yeah, I remember when I was 6 or 7 years old, my family and I went to visit my aunt in Mexico. And at that time, she was working for Hewlett Packard. So it was really interesting, how she was working as a computer engineer and bringing all her projects to the house. So it was really interesting for me. And that's how I got into computer engineering. Um, yeah, so I went to Sakel High, and I graduated from there. On my last year, I got accepted to UCSC and also to Cabrillo, but I decided to go to Cabrillo because I got some scholarships awarded to me. It was less expensive, so and after Cabrillo, I transferred to San Jose State, and I graduated as a computer engineer there.
Okay, great. Okay, so maybe you could tell us a little bit about your time at Cabrillo and things that you were involved in
Okay, um, yeah.
and your
So
experience at Cabrillo.
okay. Yeah, so in Cabrillo, John really helped me, get my career path straightened out, and she also helped me, gain confidence. And I was involved with her several projects. It was girls in engineering, and also I was part of the MESA program, and there was a Happy Valley a retreat, just dealing with various engineering experience or exposing to students. So it was really fun just being part of it. In like as I was going to San Jose State, that also helped me in getting a job at the Socal Elementary. I was teaching the kids also give computer classes, so it was really fun. And so I got a little bit of experience for that too.
What did you chose San Jose State. Maybe you could mention how come you chose San Jose State and then what your experience was like there. And there is where you learned almost all your computer engineering classes.
Yeah, so I chose San Jose State. It was close, to be with my family. I didn't have to move out, so that helped save money. And also, John advised that if there was a really great computer engineering program there, so I visited the campus, and it was really interesting. I had a great time while in San Jose State. It was mostly hands-on projects, so that's what I wanted to do, and it introduced me to the hardware and programming side. So we got to do both, a little bit of both. So that was we got I got to be part of several interesting projects like throughout my classes. So um, it was really amazing. I learned a lot.
That's great. It's really neat to hear that you had a lot of hands-on education in both hardware and software at San Jose State. Okay, so then you want to tell us about your choices and where you've worked and what are some projects you've worked on?
Yes, some of the projects, well, at San Jose State, one of the classes I got to build this laser communication project, like as a security. So, so that was, getting exposed to the coding and the hardware at the same time. And that was one of the projects for one of the classes. We also built a small mini calculator. Um, So just using different programming languages through each project helped me in learning a lot of programming languages that could be useful, and for my senior project, we did this laser cutting device. So we optimized the software for it to cut like different shapes or whatever we wanted to put it in the software. So it was really interesting.
Yeah, it sounds really great. Okay, and then how about when you graduated or work that you did as a computer engineer? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so my last semester, because like in the computer engineering field or in the engineering field, you have to get have connections. You have to make those connections in school. So some of my friends had graduated already, and then on my last semester, they recommended to this job position at their company. So I got hired there, and I've been with them like ever since with that company. Although like we got bought out by another company, but it's still similar process. So I'm still doing the same. So yeah,
Irlanda, what's the name of the
yeah. The name of the company it's Guidewire.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we are throughout the world. There's a lot of offices throughout the world, so
Mhm.
it's I get to interact with people, like in our land or other parts of the world. So yeah.
Hmm. What are some projects you've worked on that you really enjoyed at work?
At work, it's mostly programming. I don't have, after school, I haven't been exposed to hardware anymore. So, but yeah, through my work, we work with configuring projects for insurance companies. So, for example, the one I'm working on is for MetLife. So basically, we have to configure with the business requirements. Um, and we have like base code, and we have to configure according to what the client wants, rules, and we have to program all that in order to work for their business. So that's one of the most current projects I'm working on.
Okay, I guess at this point, maybe knowing that your audience is, engineering students are future engineers, what are some things maybe you would tell them that would be good tidbits for them to know as a current student or as a future engineer? What are some things that you've learned that have been helpful for you to succeed?
So since when I was in Cabrillo, I think, having your own community really helped through getting through all those hard classes, for example, physics or math. And that helped me you know, get together my own community at San Jose State, like use those strong people that will get you through, study buddies in your classes, be part of, for example, Mesa, that really helps a lot. Um, and yeah, just don't give up. It can be challenging at times, and you get to question yourself. I'm like, am I right for this? But you have to push yourself through, and you know you'll see that outcome at the end. So
Okay, one last question I'm thinking about is think about having your bachelor's degree now in computer engineering. How has that impacted your life or your quality of life?
yeah, so I remember ever since I was little, like I want to help my parents out. Like they're giving me so much, I want to give something back to them. So just helping them like throughout the hard times, with my income, it's giving me some like satisfaction as a daughter. Like I'm proud of myself, trying giving them back something of what they given me. So and just seeing my parents being proud of everything I've achieved with their support, it's great. So
Yeah, you're a very special person, Irlanda, and yeah, you brought a lot of joy to your family. That's great. Okay, Irlanda, thank you so, so much. and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you.
Okay.